Okay, y'all, I want to tell you the story about me getting off Suboxone. So, by the way, this video isn't promoting drugs at all. It's actually dissing them. So, anyways, I was in Florida. Me and my ex-wife, I guess, were separating. And I didn't realize in Florida before going down there that for some reason in Jacksonville, none of the sub providers accept insurance. So it was like $300 to see a doctor, then $30 a week. So I couldn't afford it. So what I did to get off of it was something called Robo blank taps. So if you're an addict or addict in recovery, you probably know what I'm talking about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't look into it. Never try it. It's terrible. Anyways, as my withdrawals were starting to come up, I was starting to get the gastro stuff. I wasn't throwing up yet. I wasn't doing all the other stuff. I was starting to get like really sweaty and stuff. And my silly brain thought it was a good idea to take 1,500 milligrams of freebase, Robo. Anyway, I basically started tripping very hard. And for some reason, when you take this garbage, it actually helps with opioid withdrawals. I don't know why. I think it actually hits your opioid receptors, and then plus, you don't feel pain on that garbage. And plus, you're silly, you're laughing, you're giggling. Like, you could just literally get stabbed while on that stuff, and you're good. Anyways, I blacked out. Like, I eventually lost consciousness. And this is something sometimes that happens if you hit the fourth plateau. Yeah, I hit the fourth plateau, or the Sigma plateau. But anyways, when I blacked out, for some reason, I just started throwing up like crazy. And I guess my roommates told me I was trying to get out of the bed and I was throwing up and I couldn't stand. And I remember like hours after this, like when I had memory, I wasn't blacked out. Like I remember a few times, like just going in and out of consciousness, trying to stand up. And then like my body would collapse like a bag of bones, like completely to the ground. It was so crazy. It's like my body was like jello and it just melted and just went straight to the ground. They told me that like I was basically just trying to stand up and falling over and over again. And I was just saying stuff they couldn't understand. Like it was like I was speaking in tongues. Anyways, they basically like carried me, put me in the bathtub, and then like the reason why I remember some of this because like I was drifting in and out of consciousness, but they basically like cleaned the sheets and like put new sheets on the bed. Like, yeah, I destroyed those sheets. Cleaned the throw up out the wall, and I remember them putting me back in the bed. And I remember like after that, like they got me back in the bed. I think that's when I started getting consciousness again. So when I got my consciousness back, I remember just like going back and forth from the bed to the bathtub because I was throwing up like crazy. And no, before this, I was trying to taper off of Suboxone because I knew I was low on that. I was doing everything to make that stuff go further. So anyways, like I was throwing up a crap ton even before I got to this point, but I didn't realize how much I would be throwing up. It was like I was throwing up every 5 minutes. And I wasn't just throwing up, I was going number 2 at the same time. My skin was on fire. My bones freaking hurt. And the worst part of all, I couldn't walk. Because when I took that stuff, it did something to me where I just couldn't walk. So I wasn't robo-walking to the bathroom. I was robo-crawling. Like I would just fall off the bed. Like I'm not kidding. Like, not every time. Sometimes I'll just, like, slowly, like, put my legs on the ground and then get down, and just crawl to the bathtub. And it was so bad. Like, I remember, like, to get in the bathtub, I would have to get myself to stand up and then, like, get one foot into the bathtub and then get in there. But I'm not lying when I'm telling you all this. I fell at least 20 times. And I remember, like, those 20 times. And that's not counting times I blacked out. So, like, I remember, like, trying to stand up in the bathtub. And the next thing you know, for some reason, my body collapses and I hit my head on the toilet. Or whatever. Anyways, after all this mess, and by the way, I couldn't walk, I think, for 3 or 4 days after, maybe even 5. Like, I could not walk for so long. Anyways. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, I called the cops on myself during all this. I literally called the cops. And I'm like, I think my foot's broken. And for some reason, the cops actually freaking came. And they're like, yeah, we don't think your foot's broken. You're laughing and giggling. And, like, this is the part where I still had that stuff in my system, but I was starting to feel the pain, and then I was feeling my foot hurting really bad. And they're like, yeah, and they're like, what's going on with you? And I'm like, well, I'm detoxing off of, I said the H drug. I was actually detoxing off Suboxone. I don't know why I said that. But, they were like, I think one guy said, well, they're doing a good job, because they saw my bottles of stuff I was taking, like, clonidine and then the robo garbage. And yeah, they just freaking left. And I'm so lucky I didn't get in trouble, because I did have drugs like that would get me a felony. Like, I would have been in prison, be so cooked out in the open. So I don't know why they didn't arrest me. I'm just lucky. Yeah, and also I was up for like 3-4 days straight after taking that garbage. Like, it was impossible to sleep. I definitely didn't eat out those days. I was throwing up constantly. I am so surprised I didn't die of dehydration. Like, I am so lucky I didn't. Anyways, the room, after I got the ability to walk and stuff, I was manic as crap. And for some reason, I lost the ability to lie and mask. So I would just say whatever was coming up to my mind. I was going crazy. Anyways, I confronted my roommates about something that was bothering me my whole time when I was there. They had these bed sheets with anime characters that were kids, and they were naked. And I was like, no, that is wrong. That is terrible. Freaking gross. Why do you have that? And I literally asked them, are y'all the file type of the variety of a PDF? Yeah, like, are you a PDF blank file? And you know what they told me? Oh no, we're not that. That character is from a video game called Genshin Impact or some I'm probably saying it wrong. I don't know that game. But yeah, they said, oh no, actually they showed me that game. But yeah, they were like, it's a 1,000-year-old character from that game. We're not that. And then I was thinking, why is she naked? Because she still looks like a kid. It doesn't matter if she's 1,000 years old. Yo, that should be illegal. That shouldn't be on bed sheets. What the heck? And yeah, luckily I didn't say that to them. But yeah, they pretty much kicked me out after I asked them if they were that. And I went straight to rehab. I remember posting a video like, oh, I'm going to rehab. And I was like really sweaty and crap. Drove myself to rehab. And I shouldn't even be driving. Anyways, the rehab sent me to the hospital. I found out I sprained my ribs. I sprained my foot. And yeah, my ribs were like black and purple. My foot was super purple. I had furniture marks all over my body. It was bad. Like, I was super beat up. Anyways, I should tell you the story about that rehab and why I left early. Anyway, that's it for this story time video. And by the way, TikTok, please don't community guidelines this video. This video is educational. It's dissing. It's just showing how terrible drugs are and how much damage they do. Anyways, bye y'all.